You know, getting into the property market can feel like, well, an impossible climb, right? But what if you could bridge that deposit gap a lot sooner than you think? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the real-world story of a family who did just that, using a home buyer assistance scheme to unlock the door to their dream home.
So let's meet Paul and Lucinda. Picture this. They're in a townhouse with their two kids, and they're running into a problem that, let's be honest, a lot of growing families know all too well.
I mean, it's that feeling we all know, isn't it? The walls start to feel like they're closing in, you start daydreaming about a backyard, and you just realize your home doesn't really fit anymore. For Paul and Lucinda, that feeling was getting really loud. And it wasn't just some vague idea of wanting more room. Their kids, Jack and Hannah, are hitting their preteen and teen years, and suddenly that perfect little townhouse is, well, it's bursting at the seams. It was so clear. Something had to change. And then, just like in a movie, the perfect four-bedroom house pops up for sale right down the street. But of course, with the dream came a pretty big reality check: the price.
So, the price tag on this dream home? A cool $800,000. And here's what they were working with: $70,000 in savings for the deposit and all the fees. Now, you know the standard 20% deposit on that house would be $160,000. They weren't even halfway there. Ouch.
So, what do you do? How on earth could they bridge that massive gap before some other family snapped up that house? Well, the solution came from a place they didn't expect. The answer was something called the Home Buyer Assistance Scheme, or HAS for short. And this scheme, it turned out to be the absolute missing piece of their financial puzzle. Okay, so let's break down how this actually worked. The bank, they came to the party with a $700,000 loan. But here's the real game changer. The HIS contributed $80,000. That's a full 10% of the property's value. This basically supercharged their deposit. It meant Paul and Lucinda only needed to chip in $20,000 of their own money. That's just 2.5% of the purchase price. The rest of their savings, they could use that for stamp duty and all those other fees. All of a sudden, the math just worked. And this also helped them dodge a huge expense: lender's mortgage insurance, or LMI. You know, LMI is that pesky insurance banks make you get when your deposit is under 20%, and it can add thousands, literally thousands of dollars to your upfront costs. By using the scheme to boost their deposit, they just sidestepped that fee completely. I mean, what a massive financial win. So with the money all sorted and that LMI hurdle totally cleared, Paul and Lucinda could finally move forward and buy their new home. So let's just recap the results here. They got their dream family home, they paid minimal upfront costs, they completely avoided that costly LMI, and they got to have a move that was actually, believe it or not, stress-free. That's a huge win all around. Look, Paul and Lucinda's story is a really powerful example of what's possible. But the big takeaway here isn't just about one family's success story. It's about a totally different way of thinking about how you can get into your own home. Because at the end of the day, this is about so much more than a transaction, isn't it? A property isn't just bricks and mortar. It's the foundation for your family's future. It's the backdrop for all the memories you're going to make. Just knowing that solutions like this are out there can change your whole perspective on what's possible. It really shifts the question from if I can ever buy a home to how can I make it happen. So the real question I want to leave you with is this: if those financial barriers were a little bit lower, what kind of future would you build?